Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make for you some Parmesan crusted pork chops. These pork chops are absolutely delicious and one of my husband's absolute favorite ways that I do pork chops. They're pretty simple to put together, there's not a whole lot of ingredients, and the cook time is relatively low, so it's an easy meal if you've been working all day and come home and get it mixed up and put it in your pan. It's wonderful. So let me tell you what all goes in these. So I've got 5 pork chops and they're on the thin side. I do always use the bone in, it just makes a more flavorful piece of meat. You're gonna take a large egg and you're gonna beat it. You're gonna do salt and pepper to taste. You're gonna have the grated Parmesan cheese, and then I'm gonna do the Italian breadcrumbs. Now you can use just the regular if you don't have the Italian style breadcrumbs on hand. Now, I use an electric skillet to fry mine because it actually will fry most of these all at one time. If you don't have one, you can just use a regular frying pan. So next, we're going to go ahead and show you how we get these pork chops mixed up to get them frying. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get our pork chops ready to start frying them. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of oil in my pan, and I'm just going to let that sit for just a second because I'm going to go ahead and get all these covered, and then I'm going to put them all in the pan. That way when I start frying them, they all get done relatively at the same time. So next I'm going to beat my egg, and I just normally use a pie pan for this because you're going to dip it in this, and then you're going to dip it in the cheese, and then you're going to dip it in the breadcrumbs. And I use parchment paper for those because then you can just crumple them up and throw them away. It's just easier cleanup. All right, I've already went ahead and I have washed my pork chops, and I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper them both sides. And that's just a taste, however much you like. Is good. And then I'm going to put them in the egg next. And you're just going to want to coat it on both sides. Now, I just sprinkle out some cheese, and then if I need to add more, I can always add more in just a little bit. And the same thing with the breadcrumbs. I just keep those on hand. That way if I need to add more, I can. So let's spread that out a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and dip our pork chop in the cheese. And then we're gonna do the other side. These are delicious, easy pork chop to make. So they don't take real long to cook once you get them all ready to get them in the pan. And they are delicious. All right, so that's the first one. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to go ahead and lay this in the pan. And we're going to do all these the same way. Salt and pepper and egg. All right. If you like pork chops, this is a good way to make them. They turn out good every time. You can make them with a larger thickness of pork chop if you like. I just prefer the thinner ones. They just seem to cook up a little quicker, and they're a little more tender in my opinion. But they are good with any really size pork chop, or any, if you have the center cut, that's great because those are always good. But we love pork chops here. And I always like to make like a potato dish, and I've got several potato dishes on some of my prior videos, so you might want to check those out to make with this meal. And a nice salad or another vegetable. I've got a good squash and zucchini recipe that you can use with this as well. All right, I'm going to continue on, and when I come back, we'll go ahead and get these frying. Okay, y'all, as you can see, we've got our pork chops all coated and in our pan, and I have turned it on to around 400 degrees. And basically what we're gonna wanna do is just wanna get them good and brown on both sides. And then we're gonna cover them and let them cook for about 20 minutes until they're good and tender and done. Since they're not real thick, they won't take super long to cook through. Now, as I was saying earlier, these are just a good, easy pork chop to make when you've got been at work all day and you don't want to have to be in your kitchen for a long time. It doesn't take a long time to mix up, and they are a delicious pork chop, and they are good leftover as well. Even though they are semi-fried, they don't have the total thing under grease, but there is oil in the pan. They are good leftover as well. A lot of times we don't have leftovers because we really like them, so my husband and I typically eat these in one sitting and not have any left, but if you do happen to have any left over, they are good the next day. So we're just going to keep an eye on these until they're good and brown, and then we'll flip them over. And like I said, we'll put our lid on and let them get cooked through and through. And they're already starting to smell really good. A couple more minutes and we'll flip them over. Like I said, I've got some really good potato recipes on my prior videos that would go really well with this. There's a party potato or cheesy potato. I also have a squash and zucchini recipe on a prior video that is excellent with this as well. I've got a squash casserole recipe that'll be on that's actually is good with this too. So there's a lot of options that you can make with this meal. If you like pork chops, you'll love this. All right, they're starting to brown up. And like I said, when I coat my pork chops, I do like to get them all in at the same time. That way they're browning all at the same time and they get done at relatively the same time. Obviously, if you have a little thicker pork chop than the other, one may get done quicker than the other one. But that way I know that they're not going to be, one's going to be really done and the others won't be as done as quickly. So, all right. All right, we're going to go ahead and flip one of these over. Yeah, they're starting to get good and brown. We're going to turn them again once they've cooked on both sides good, because we're going to get them a nicer golden brown. So I'm going to finish frying these up, and then I'm going to come back and show you how they look after they're all done. Hey y'all, as you can see, we've got our pork chops out of our pan, and they are good and golden brown, and they smell delicious. This is what we're having for dinner tonight, and I hope that y'all will try this recipe and let me know how you like it. I hope your family enjoys it as well, and I hope that y'all will check out my channel and subscribe, please, and click on the bell for any notifications of my upcoming videos. I hope you all have a great evening, and thank you so much for watching.